Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Jacob, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to Pass a TOEFL IBT. And you are working on some pronunciation practice, and you're also one of my students in the English language program here at California State University, San Bernardino. So I'm going to go ahead and listen to what you are saying here. Let me bring up both windows here. So okay, let me see. Okay, here we go. Okay, got it. Okay, you're doing the ah-o. Ah-o.
God, board. Card, cord. Sock, sock. Knot, knot.
Good.
God, goat.
So it's long, short. Got, goat. Not, note.
Lock, loath.
And that one's loathe. Loathe.
Ball, ball.
Okay.
On, dot, dot. Con, con.
Okay. Okay, now next time when you do this, you can just send me one audio file, and particularly when you're doing your practice, for our purposes, just focus on voice recording exercise number 1 and voice recording exercise number 2. Those are the ones I'm most interested in, where you're reading the sentences and the paragraphs. Okay, so let me download the next one. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go.
Honest father.
Okay.
Blow, blind.
Good.
Gloat, glow.
All right.
Bomb, comb.
All right.
Known, flown. Mobile, mopping.
All right.
Biography, biology. Born.
Okay, take the word, it's biology, biology, biography, biology.
Bond.
Okay, now you're getting into, this is what I'm talking about. Just focus, when you do your next lesson, focus on voice recording exercise number 1 and also number 2. Okay, let's take a look at this. So now, I'm going to download the next one, number 3.
However,
Okay, here we go.
the U.S. Army continually invaded this territory, creating problems within the known zones of the native economy. Indeed, it is not.
So take a look at that word, zones, the known zones.
That forms of dance play an important role within a culture.
Remember the word, the R, it's roll, not roll, but roll. role within a culture,
and reveal a wide range of information about the characteristics of a culture.
okay,
Sitting Bull and Sioux realized they could not defeat the army alone, and they must fight on their own land.
Now, your tone it's a little bit confusing. You have to vary your tone a little bit more now. I'll give you an example here. So you'll say, Sitting Bull and the Sioux realized they could not defeat the army alone, and they must fight on their own land. Now, once you get to the end, you want to drop your tone just a little bit, so you're kind of putting equal emphasis on almost all the words in this sentence, and partly it's because you're reading them and you're recording your voice, but we don't normally speak that way, right? So we'll practice in just a minute.
I speeds up the repair process and should be applied for 10 to 30 minutes on and off for not longer than 72 hours.
Hours.
It is important to point out that...
So you're saying it is important to point out that adult feedback has a direct effect on development at this stage. So the other thing that you have to get is called sentence rhythm. It's the combination of stress and unstressed words in the language, and that means your nouns, adjectives, adverbs, and verbs. These words receive more stress in the sentences and the words that you say, and then you have words like auxiliary verbs, you have prepositions, and you have determiners. These are function words and do not receive as much stress.
Adult feedback has a direct effect.
I want to say adult feedback
on development at this stage. Again, in helping the child to acquire the words to express increasingly subtle differences in
reference. Okay, so let's try number one together here, sentence one. However, the U.S. Army continually invaded this territory, creating problems within the known zones of the native economy. Number two. Indeed, it is known that forms of dance play an important role within a culture and reveal a wide range of information about the characteristics of a culture. Number three. Sitting Bull and the Sioux realized they could not defeat the army alone, and they must fight on their own land. 4. Ice speeds up the repair process and should be applied for 10 to 30 minutes on and off for not longer than 72 hours. Number 5. It is important to point out that adult feedback has a direct effect on development at this stage, again in helping the child to acquire the words to express increasingly subtle differences in reference. Alright, so here's what you're trying to do. Part of what I want you to also work on as you're sending me these recordings is I want you to work on varying your intonation so you're not speaking in one tone. Also, try not to pronounce all of the words equally in the sentence. Again, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, and verbs, these content words should be emphasized more than the grammatical type words you have in your sentences. For example, if you look at sentence 1, you have the word the, this, within the, of the. All of these words are considered grammatical in nature, so I'm not putting too much stress on those words. So this helps you with what's called sentence rhythm, the combination of stress and unstressed words in the English language. Okay, now we are going to one more practice exercise here. So we have voice recording exercise 2. See what we have.
Young children.
Okay, so now let's go back to what you're saying. Okay, got it. Here we go.
Young Young children typically overgeneralize their early words or hollow phrases in the act of deciphering the
deciphering
semantics of their language. That cat may
You want to say thus. You didn't clearly pronounce that word. Thus.
be applied to anything with 4 legs. Daddy is any adult male. As the child experiments with increasingly
I would say they're experiments. So stress on that second syllable. Experiments.
sophisticated hypotheses about the meaning of words. Previously acquired items may drop out of the vocabulary. An example is the 16-month-old who went through a period of calling his mother Lady Daddy.
Okay, so overall, you're pronouncing your words fairly clearly, and you're actually pausing also, which is good at the right places, but still you're working on that intonation and that sentence rhythm. Okay, so let's read this paragraph together again. I want you to pay attention to my intonation and also my sentence rhythm. Remember, I'm not equally stressing every word in the sentence. I'm focusing more on the nouns, adjectives, adverbs, and verbs. So let's take a look at the next paragraph here. Let me read it. So it says, and read with me here. Young children typically overgeneralize their early words or halophrases in the act of deciphering the semantics of their language. Thus, cat may be applied to anything with 4 legs. Daddy is any adult male. As the child experiments with increasingly sophisticated hypotheses about the meaning of words, previously acquired items may drop out of the vocabulary. An example is the 16-month-old who went through a period of calling his mother Lady Daddy. All right, there you go. So thank you for completing this assignment. This is a process. I think you're making some progress. You're understanding the difference right now with the ah and the o. And now I've given you even some other instruction about sentence rhythm and intonation, which is something else that you can start worrying about or start practicing, I guess, as you're turning in or completing these assignments. All right, Jacob, thank you.